Hi you guys, this is Michelle. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is Soul Purpose Activation, and we are back with another pick a card reading. I don't normally do introduction videos, but I felt that this would be very helpful to kind of share with you guys about this pick a card reading. So we're going to be, I thought this was going to be this is going to be so fun. So it is the love story of you and your future spouse. So like if I were to write a book or make a movie of yours and your future spouse's, your love story, you know, from all the way from the beginning to, I don't want to say the very end, but you know what I mean, to the happily ever after. Yeah, I just think this is going to be such an intriguing reading to do. So what I wanted to share with you guys is that, you know, I'm going to be keeping these readings very 100% real, in that not every love story from beginning to end is always going to be rainbows and unicorns and, you know, all that good stuff. So you know, we will be looking, you know, from the very beginning, you know, the middle, and then, you know, straight into your guys' happily ever after. Now, for many of you, the majority of you, there may be some messy spots or some messy patches in there and stuff. And so, you know, whatever information that comes through, just keep in mind that we are talking about your future spouse. And so, whatever comes up, just kind of approach it with an open mind and an open heart, okay? Try to, as much as you can, put your mind kind of to the back burner and kind of listen with your heart and with your spirit, okay? And just remember that relationships and long-term relationships, and especially marriages, are here to teach us about ourselves. They're also here to help heal us by way of mirroring back to us the things in us that need to be healed. And so some of the things, like if some information comes up during the reading that you're like, oh, I would never, you know, be with someone like that, just keep an open mind. Often this is how we have set ourselves up in this lifetime in order to heal, okay? So I just wanted to share that little bit with you. So we've got pile 1 through pile 4. So pile 1 is with the Spiritite stone, okay? Pile 2 is Malachite and Chrysocholla. Pile 3 is blue Calcite. And then pile 4 is fire quartz, also known as hematoid quartz, fire quartz. We'll just keep it at fire quartz, all right? So take a minute, pause the video if you need to, pick your pile, and I will see you at your timestamp. All right. Hi, pile 1. If you chose the Spiritite stone, this is going to be your reading. What am I going to do with this lovely stone? We'll put it right there for now, okay? And what we're going to be looking at is yours and your future spouse's love story from beginning all the way to happily ever after, okay? So first what we're going to do is I made my own little little card deck here, and this is all about the very beginning, okay? So after I flip these 2 cards over, we're going to start pulling cards live, and I'm going to use my pendulum to tell me how many cards from this pile does your higher self want me to pull that is going to give us some details about yours and your future spouse's, the beginning of your love story, okay? But first, let's flip these cards over. Here we have acceleration. Then here we have, it is safe for you to love, open your heart, and give and receive the highest energy of all. So of course, acceleration makes me feel like things like once you and your future spouse make that connection, things are gonna like progress between the two of you very, very quickly. And it may kind of, depending on what your experience up to this point of relationships are, it might freak you out a little bit. especially if you've been in a past relationship where you are used, you know, like where someone has come on hot and heavy really fast, really soon, and then it ended in disaster. Okay, and so your higher self is coming through with, you know, this lovely romance card right here, is telling you that it's safe for you to love. It is safe for you to open your heart. It is safe for you to give and receive the highest energy of all, which is love. Okay, you can trust this person. They're just ready. Okay, if they're coming on what seems like too fast, too soon, it's just because they're sure about you. I have a feeling like they're probably in a space in their life when they meet you that they're going to be very sure and just ready to finally settle down, or just settle down. Okay, and so if they're older, it's maybe just because they're at that point in life where, you know, they're done, you know, quote unquote playing the field. If, you know, or they could be younger and just never had the desire to even play the field. Okay, yeah, all right, so let's find out how many cards from this deck that your higher self wants to pull. Pile 1, 10 or more cards. $15 or more cards. Okay, so we got 10 cards, 11 cards. All right, so we're gonna pull 11 cards from this deck. All right, so it's gonna take us a minute. Pile 1. This is the beginning of your love story. Pile 1's beginning of your love story with your future spouse. All right, we got fall time. Talk for hours. Oh, they're just going to feel drawn to you. I just felt like the energy drained from my head, and I kind of feel like, let me kind of get a feel for what that means. It's not overwhelming. Shocking, like yearning for some time alone. You know how when you're taking in quite a bit all at one time, or it could even be that something about meeting you completely messes with, I don't want to say their plan, but like maybe they weren't expecting to meet you when they did, and it's almost like there's cognitive dissonance in a good way happening here. Like you came along and you kind of disrupted things for them, disrupted whatever path they were along, but not in a bad way, because you are part of their path. And so it's kind of like not shocking for them, but you know, when your entire course of your life changes, you had everything planned out, then all of a sudden something comes along, and yeah, I'm feeling like this person had everything planned out. Like they're that kind of person. Yep, there's that feeling again. They had everything planned out. Everything planned out, and then they meet you, and it's like, oh, they have to completely reroute their plan, but they're happy to do so. So we got springtime, fall time. So the two of you coming together could be right around the time that it transitions from spring to fall. You got, I knew you were the one. Yeah, I think that's part of why they have that feeling, is because they weren't expecting to feel what they feel so soon. And I feel like that's the reason why, like, they're wanting to, and that's just like, that's going to be completely out of character for them. I'm feeling this person probably has a lot of, it says, do you come here often? So you might end up meeting this person at a place that you frequent on a normal, like on a semi-regular basis. You know, like if you go to the gym, if you go to the same park, a bar or a club, the grocery store, something like that, a place that you go to often. It could even be like, you know, maybe, no, not, I was going to say maybe possibly like at a friend's or family's house, but there's a card in here for that. So you might meet them when you're out and about doing something that is, yeah, it says meet through friends and family. Let's see, we got 8. I need 3 more. There's too many distractions. Stopped me in my tracks. Saw you in a crowded room or a crowded place. Okay, so I'm getting the picture as to why they're feeling that sensation. It's hard to explain. It's not quite as bad as like if you're standing up and all the blood rushes, you know, away from your head, but it's weird. It's hard to explain. The too many distractions for me, it's not that there's so much going on in the background. I think there's an overwhelming chatter, kind of like their, you know, their belief system that is completely connected to like the plans that they've made up until that point. Their ego, I'm hoping you know what I mean by ego. I don't mean an ego as in terms of this person being you know, conceited or anything like that. I'm thinking of an ego in the sense of, you know, programming. All right, and so their programming is kind of going a little bit crazy, kind of having a field day, because when they see you, when they met you, yeah, see, it says I knew you were the one early on. I think your future spouse is going to have a very detailed, sorry for that background noise, I thought they were done. Hold on, you guys. They're going to have a detailed plan, a detailed agenda, like, you know, they're going to be finishing school, they're going to be finishing their degree, they're going to be, you know, first they're going to establish their business and get it to a certain point, they're going to first have a house or do this or do that, you know, they have this plan set in their mind as how things are going to go. And up until the point where they meet you, they've been able to stay on that plan. Even like if they've met people, you know, dated people or had maybe some, you know, had some relationships prior to you, these relationships for them were always kind of like on the back burner. But all that changes when they come into contact with you. Okay, so in the beginning of your love story, it is right during the time where spring turns into fall. So think about the months where you're at, right when spring kind of transitions into the fall time. Okay. The two of you kind of meet, it says that you're meeting through friends and family, and then it also is like, do you come here often? So it might be a place that you and your friends frequent together. So if you and your friends, you know, go to you know, to eat out regularly at a certain place, or maybe you and your friends go, you know, to a club or a bar regularly, or maybe your friends regularly hang out at a certain hangout spot, but it's like you and your friends go, friends or family go, like you have a regular spot that you guys go to, and it may just be you and one of your friends, it could be you and a group of friends, and that's where this meeting happens. It is at a place where there's a lot of people around, so, you know, it says I saw you in a crowded room or a crowded place, and I'm actually kind of seeing like it might be somewhere outdoors. I think for a lot of you, this place is outdoors, because if you're thinking about the springtime into the fall, it is going to be fairly nice. And I'm kind of seeing, God, there's that feeling again. wow, meeting you is really going to like almost like throw your, this is what it is. I feel like I'm being thrown off balance, and that's really what's going on with your future spouse when they meet you. And they're drawn to you. And with all the, yeah, so there is, okay, so not only are they being distracted by what's going on internally, there is a lot of external distraction going on, and so there might be a lot of loud noises. There just might be too many people around, a lot of conversations going on at the same time. And when it says that they're yearning for some alone time, it's that they're craving, what is it? They're wanting to get to know you better. They're wanting, like, you guys are talking, right? And they're just intrigued by you. And they don't like the distractions. Like, they're really just wanting to have that personal, intimate, alone time. I'm not talking about sex. They're just wanting that personal alone time with you where, you know, it's just your attention on them and their attention on you, and the two of you are just talking back and forth. And you know, and before you know it, you look down at your watch and you're like, I can't believe we've been here and we've been talking for like 6 hours. And for some of you, it really is going to be like that. Like, that's going to be part of your story. Like, the first night we met, we, you know, sat outside and we talked, you know, for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours straight. Okay, 12 hours is extensive, but I've known people that would talk for 10 hours like straight. It's insane. But I'm thinking, like, you know, when I say talk for hours, 6 for some reason, 6 hours is really popping out. But anyway, and so they may even ask you, like, hey, do you come here often? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain, like, this person's reaction, okay? So they see you in a crowded room. Something about you stops them in their tracks. And I'm sure we're going to get more information as we continue to read the cards, the rest of the cards. But I feel like it's a soul recognition. I'm not, you know, of course, I'm sure they're going to find you physically attractive and stuff like that. But physical attraction for this person, like, you know, not that it's not a big deal, because of course they want to feel, you know, physically attracted to somebody, but they value, like, what they want in a relationship goes deeper than that. And so it's almost like a soul recognition. There's just something about you, even when they see you in a crowded room or see you from far away or something like that, there's just something about you that feels very familiar on an energetic soul level. Yeah, because it says that they're drawn to you. And I'm getting a sense, so like, say if you've been searching for someone, like, say if you've lost touch with someone in your, you know, young adult life or something, and you've gone years and years and years and years and years without seeing them, and then all of a sudden they just pop up out of nowhere, it would stop you in your tracks and you would just feel drawn to them. I'm not saying that this is someone that you've known before, but it's that feeling that this person gets when they see you. It's almost as if, like, you know, the two of you may have some past lives together, or it just may be that, you know, that your soul and their soul made a contract or a pact or an agreement with each other prior to incarnating here, that the two of you would find each other and, you know, spend this lifetime together. And it's like their soul recognizes and remembers that agreement or that contract or that pact, and it just stops them in their track. Okay, so yeah, your first initial meeting, as far as they're concerned, is just almost like magic. It's mind-blowing. That's what I'm feeling like my head, it's so weird that I'm having this feeling, because I don't get feelings like that. Okay, so I guess that's what it's trying to say. Like, for them, it's going to be mind-blowing. Completely, like, they're not looking for it, it's unexpected, but when they find you, I mean, it's it from there. I don't feel like the two of you are going to be spending any time apart or much time apart after that. In fact, like I said, the relationship is going to progress rather quickly, meaning it wouldn't surprise me if the two of you are like, you know, engaged and married within a year of meeting, okay? Because they're just going to be that sure. All right, let's look at after you meet. All right. Pile one's love story with their future spouse. All right, we got the Seven of Pentacles reversed. We got the Two of Wands reversed. Let's get 3 more cards. This is going to be so far out of this person's character and their expectation. Hold on. Let me pull the rest of these cards out and then I'll finish my thoughts. Okay, we got Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands. Justice in reverse, and then we have the Four of Cups in reverse. Okay, so what I was going to say is that this person is so used to, like, I'm picking up heavy earth energy from this person. This person plans, you know, like they live by a schedule, they live by a to-do list, they're very organized, they're very structured, they don't normally make decisions on a whim, stuff like that. And so, like, I can understand right now why my head is, like, I'm feeling mind blown. Like, I'm feeling an actual physical sensation of what it feels like to be mind blown, because that's what's going on here. And so, like, in the time after meeting, you know, initially dating and stuff like that, there isn't going to be much of a pause or much of a, what's that, you know, like after dating, how there's kind of like a time in between dating before you get engaged, and then there's some time between getting engaged before you finally get married. Like, I'm not hardly seeing any space much at all between the stages. It's just, it feels like a flurry of activity that's going on. And what this is probably is the flurry of activity that is associated with merging two lives together, figuring out living arrangements, figuring out, you know, if the two of you do, like, if you do decide to get formally, legally married, the flurry of planning a wedding that's going to be happen within probably the span of, I'd say 9 months. Because, like, I can see for some of you, it's going to be as quick as, like, the two of you are engaged within 3 to 6 months of meeting. And then after that, it's like, you know, within a year of meeting. Like, you guys are going to be married within a year of meeting. And so you might have 9 months to about maybe 6 months to plan a wedding. Like, it's going to be a flurry of activity. I do feel like it's going to be it is going to feel very overwhelming. But, you know, with the Ten of Wands, it feels like a burden. It feels overwhelming, but you're doing the work because there's a prize at the end of all of it, right? In the traditional tarot deck, there is like a really gorgeous house, and it's kind of like grayed out in this picture. You can't really see it, but there's a gorgeous house. So this person is really like working their land, providing for their family, and there's, you know, you can see this gorgeous land and this gorgeous house in the background, and they're really working hard just for the season, right? This isn't something that they do every day. This is just for the season, and they're doing it because, you know, it's for the benefit of their home and their family. And I feel like that's what's going to be happening here. Just a flurry of activity that's happening. And this person may have a hard time keeping up with this flurry of activity because they are so used to doing things slow, not slow, but, you know, methodical, which, you know, they take time to make really, really important decisions. And so you may have to kind of like, you know, for the most part, take the reins on that. Not that they don't want to be consulted for, like, you know, important stuff, but I do feel like even though there's this flurry of activity going on, both of you still have your lives to lead while all of this stuff is happening, while you're thinking of, you know, living arrangements, planning a wedding, things of that nature. And so there may be some contention between you and your future spouse during this time because both of you are so busy and things can get so overwhelming. You may feel like they're not really quite able to keep up with everything that is involving the wedding. If you are someone who is totally fine with taking over that aspect of it, even better. If not, that might be a place of contention between you and them. And look, right when I said that, the Empress came out. So really there is no issue. This is really just something like the energy it's going to be feeling like too much too soon. Not like the marriage is too much too soon. It's all the activity, all the responsibility, you know, all the things that have to be done, all the boxes that have to be checked before all these things happen, okay? But the Empress is really that feeling like after all of this is said and done, it's like you're going to be able to breathe again. You know, you're going to be able to sit in comfort. There's going to be more than enough. An abundance of anything that you need, an abundance of time, money, stuff like that, okay? Good messages. All right, so let's talk about what is after. All right, what we're looking at now is after the wedding or after the initial flurry of activity is finally settled. Let's get 4 more cards for pile 1, please. Cards for pile 1. All right, we got Judgment. We got the 8 of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, look at all these gorgeous cards coming out. We got the Sun. Let's get 2 more cards. This is like the honeymoon phase, and I feel like the honeymoon phase between the two of you is going to last a while, like a long time. Get 2 more cards for pile 1, please. All right, we got the, actually that wanted to come up upside down. I'm having a habit of flipping things right side up when I'm looking at oracle cards. I got 1 more card, please. Whoa. No, that's too many, but we'll take this one because they came out first. Okay. All right, so after the initial flurry, like after the initial meeting, after the intense flurry of activity between, you know, meeting and then planning your wedding, getting married, things, stuff like that, things are looking really bright. Like your honeymoon period is truly going to be, it's going to be amazing. And there's an idea or there's a vision of you guys actually going somewhere for your honeymoon and actually being there for a while, okay? That's going to be true for some of you. Otherwise, this is just letting me know the honeymoon period is going to last, you know, far after the wedding, far after the actual honeymoon that the two of you may be going on. Very beautiful. Things are going to slow down as far as like the activity goes, like the two of you are going to, like, things feel settled. We'll put it that way. Things feel settled. Like the two of you are finally like, oh my gosh, finally we can just enjoy each other's company rather than, you know, having to constantly plan this, constantly plan that. Oh, and by the way, I am being guided to tell you, with the Empress card popping out right after this, there may be a pregnancy shortly after the wedding, like during the honeymoon. Yeah, that's going to be true for some of you, okay? Like a pregnancy could be happening, and that could be for a lot of the ones where judgment's coming out. That's, judgment is like a wake-up call, okay? That is for some of you. And actually, you know what, you guys, that is exactly what this reading is looking like. Wow. Because that's exactly what having kids does. Eight of Pentacles is all about hard at work. For those of you that aren't wanting kids, and you're going to make sure that you don't have kids for a while, that just means that, okay, so the two of you are going to be settling into a routine together. That honeymoon period is there, and what I mean by the honeymoon period, that feeling of being in love, that emotional bliss, that euphoria, that's always going to be there. And then the two of you get hard at work together, not just establishing your life together, but I feel like the two of you are going to come together on some kind of a project, okay? A very important project where the two of you are combining resources to build something very important together, okay? And the judgment here could just simply mean that there is some kind of a wake-up call that happens after the wedding. It doesn't feel bad, it doesn't feel negative, but it's just like, oh wow, like, you know, I'm married now, you know, I'm a wife, or I'm a husband, or I'm a, however you want to say it. And it's like you're settling into that new role that you've just adopted. It actually feels very comforting, it feels very beautiful, but there's a whole different, there's something different about realizing the revelation of actually being that thing versus just the idea, like, you know, you've probably had this idea like, oh, I can't wait to get married, I can't wait to have a husband or a wife or whatever. And then like the realization dawns on you finally after everything settles down, after the wedding, after, you know, the initial honeymoon and stuff like that. And you're like, I'm really married. Like, wow, like this is, I'm in married life right now. And thankfully though, like the two of you are really just going to settle down in a routine fairly quickly. Like you're going to be finding your groove, and it's going to be very comfortable. The two of you aren't going to really have to face too many hardships and obstacles, because the two of you are just going to fit so well together. Your energy flows, okay? The sun right in the middle of this reading is just, and I love how it's right underneath the Ten of Wands, because it's like, you know, it takes over. Like where before, between meeting each other and then getting married, things were very hectic and very crazy. It's like after that, it's like a complete night and day. It's like boom, you know, you finally get to enjoy each other. And the two of you never, like, even though the two of you are together, it's so, I love this. I love this. So, because what this Page of Pentacles is telling me is that the reason why the two of you are able to maintain this feeling of being on a honeymoon, what they would call, you know, what they call the honeymoon period, is because the two of you are constantly learning either new things about each other, or you are constantly learning new things together, you know, constantly exploring things. Like life seems fresh and new all the time, because the two of you are constantly learning together, whether it's learning from each other, learning about each other, you're learning with each other, stuff like that. So there's always this feeling of the relationship feeling new, feeling fresh, right? Like there's always something to talk about with each other. I love that energy. All right, let's see where we're at. I think what we're going to do is we'll get some messages directly from them. right, pile one's future spouse messages. Pile one, what messages does your future spouse have for you? It's a whirlwind is what I'm hearing. Like your story starts in a whirlwind. Okay, and it says this love scares me. Reach out. And I can see why, like in the very beginning, they get a little freaked out because, you know, especially for people, and I'm not saying that they are going to be an earth sign, so earth sign is Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo, but earth sign energy is just very methodical, it's very strategic, it's very mapped out, and like, you know, when they met you and decided, you know, they were going to completely just kind of deviate from course, it's unsettling for them at first, but that doesn't stop them from continuing to move forward, okay? So it does freak them out a little bit. But I do feel like they're going to get a handle on that. Like, they're going to keep a good handle on that. Like, it's not going to scare them to the point of where they're, like, pulling away or disappearing or nothing like that. Like, they're with you from the get-go. From the get-go. I'm not picking up on any vibes here that there is even, like, this is the fairy tale, like, this is the Hollywood movie type of shit right here. It says, I want a fresh start with you. Let's get 2 more, please. I am terrified. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get 1 more. Then it says something about wrongful advice. Okay, so you know what? And this is probably going to be on both of your guys' side. First, I'll tell you what I was thinking when this pulled out. When I am terrified popped out, and then I put it right back to right next to this love scares me. What's really going to help them, because this is really going to put them in a space of cognitive dissonance right in the very beginning, because like I said, you know, when you have your entire life mapped out and then something comes along and now you have to completely rearrange everything, it does cause, it causes your mind to freak out. I mean, look up cognitive dissonance so you can kind of get an understanding of what they're going to be going through. It's not that they're going to be doubting you or wanting to be with you or wanting to spend the rest of their life with you. It's just when, I mean, it's very hard to explain. They're not scared because, you know, they think they're making the wrong choice or wondering if they're making the wrong choice. It's just that feeling that you get when it's almost as if your identity is being challenged, but it's not quite that bad. It's just like you had this plan. Then all of a sudden this plan is completely scrapped and you're having to like rewrite the plan from scratch. And that kind of freaks them out in the very beginning, because, you know, they've had this plan around for a long time. They've had a long time to put this plan into play. And now all of a sudden it's like they're back to the drawing board and there's a lot of big life changes happening now. And for people that are earth sign dominant or they have that heavy earth sign energy, earth signs, especially fixed signs, okay? So heavy on the earth signs and or the fixed signs. So fixed signs are going to be Aquarius, is I think Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo. Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and I'm missing one. Taurus. There you go. Okay, so it's either going to be they're either going to be kind of more of a fixed sign or a very earthy sign, and or even both. They may be a Taurus, okay? Like that fixed earth sign energy where they're just very, very thought out, very planned out, very, I don't want to say stuck in their ways, but it's just, they don't like change. Like it takes them a minute to really, to make changes, okay? So I'm not saying they're a Taurus, but I'm really am picking up on heavy earth energy and or fixed type of energy, okay? So I just wanted to make sure that you understand when they are going through this and what is actually going to help them out a bit, because I'm actually hearing you tell them that You know, you're very understanding. You understand where they're coming from. And you're actually telling them, you know, we don't have to do it this quickly. We can, you know, we can wait. And they're looking at you like, no, that's not, I don't want that. This is what I want. What we're doing is what I want. It's just freaking me out because, you know, that's just the space that they're in. All right. They do want the fresh start with you. And so the two of you are probably going to encounter some resistance from your loved ones, just because it is going, like, they're from the outside looking in, they're going to feel like, aren't you guys going too fast, you know? And so just keep your mind, keep your heart set on the connection between you and your future spouse. You know, I mean, not to like completely dismiss them to their face, but just know that there's going to be a lot of people telling you that you need to slow down, you don't need to be going this fast, this and that, this and that. Just expect that. Expect some resistance to how your guys' connection, how it's unfolding. It really makes, it's funny, it really makes people outside of your guys' relationship feel uncomfortable. Because they think you're moving too fast, okay? But pay no mind to that. You and your future spouse know what is good for you guys, okay? All right, I'm going to pull from a couple more decks, and then we're going to wrap this up. Get some more messages from you. Like, I feel like they're going to get some wrongful advice. Like, they're going to be told by their friends and family, because their friends and family know them as this person who, you know, is on this very set path. And it may freak their friends and family out that they're basically starting from scratch. But this person has your back. They are so sure of what they want with you. It doesn't matter what anyone says to them. And just know that it has nothing to do with their friends or family not liking you. They'll probably adore you. It's more or less them just trying to look out for them, just trying to make sure, you know, that they're doing the right thing. And your future spouse knows that they're doing the right thing. And pretty soon, I mean, people will see you guys settle into your groove, and they'll actually see you guys like, wow, you know, you're the couple made in heaven. You're the couple that everybody, you know, wants to emulate. You know, your couple goals, relationship goals, marriage goals. Okay. All right, let's get 3 cards from this deck for pile 1, please. You didn't see my tears. So I feel like this person may have a hard time expressing emotion. I would do it all over again. Yep. Like, they're not going to have any regrets at all about how things start out, how fast the two of you, like, they're that sure. They know. Like, even though, like, they're having to scrap their plans, it's like they don't care about their plans, because they can either have their plans or they can have you. And they're like, they would rather have you. Maybe they were planning on moving to a whole different place, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they were going to go work in a different city or a different state or a different country or province or something like that. And since they met you, they're going to stay. Like, that's why it's kind of freaking them out a little bit, because they're on a path that was, you know, a while in the making. But they're realizing it's like they'd rather have you. They don't want that life if living that life means living it without you. Oh, I am not over you. Yeah, and that's why they don't want to, like, they're so willing to scrap that plan. Because they know that they could go and have that life and reach that life, but then they would never, ever, ever really, truly get over you. And then as far as, like, so this person tends to suffer in silence, okay? I don't want to say that they're not good at expressing their emotions. I think they're very good at expressing, like, how they feel towards you, like public displays, like affectionately, like they'll be very affectionate with you, you know, what do they call that, touchy-feely with you, always kissing you, stuff like that, telling you that they love you. It's just that they have a hard time expressing feeling scared, feeling doubtful. They kind of tend to hold all of that stuff inside, okay? Here we have, I lost myself for a little while. I feel like that's what happened right when they first met you. I think that's why they had that mind-blowing experience, because it's that cognitive dissonance. Let's get 2 more cards. And the 2 of you are going to be so thankful to finally settle into, you know, your married life routine, your married life, just settling into your married life together. Like, yeah, the wedding is fun to plan. The wedding itself was fun. The honeymoon was fun, but it's like, God, now we finally get to actually live our lives. Like, we actually finally get to, you know, build stuff together. I need 2 more cards from this deck for pile 1, please. It says, I wish I could share my good news with you. Just being near you is intoxicating. Exactly. That's, yeah, that whole thing going on with my head. It was very hard for me to, like, think straight. They're going to want to share everything with you. Like, anything that happens, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, every single little, like, you're their best friend. That's what it is. You are their absolute best friend. They're your absolute best friend. I mean, I know, you know, you may have besties that you've had, you know, for years and years and years. They may have besties, you know, that they've had for years and years and years. But the 2 of you together are real, true best friends in every sense of the word. Not to say that your bestie's not, but like, your future spouse is going to be your ultimate best friend. They're going to know you in ways that no one else has ever known you, may never will know you, and vice versa. And it's going to be that kind of a relationship where the 2 of you are just in constant communication. Like, if something just outrageous happens, like, you know, whoever your go-to person is now, anytime something, like, you really are excited to share something, that person is going to be your future spouse, and the same is true for them with you. Like, the 2 of you are going to be ultimate best friends. Let's see if there's any messages that want to come through the Stargazing Oracle for you guys. Are there any messages that want to, that's a lot of messages. Yeah, that was too many. Come on, is there any messages from this deck that want to come out? I'm hearing no. They're like, no, that's pretty much everything. Sorry, you guys. Anyway, okay, pile 1, those are your messages. I love this love story between you and your future spouse. If I was choosing a pile for myself, this would have been the one I wanted to choose. If you enjoyed this reading, please do me a favor and smash that like button. Comment, share, subscribe if you feel led to do so. Just know that I really value and honor the time that you spend here with me. Time is finite, you know, it's precious, and I feel so honored that you're spending that with me. And I very much look forward to reading again for you guys soon. Thanks, you guys. Hi, pile 2. If you chose the Malachite and Chrysocholla stone, this is going to be, or is it Chrysocholla? This is going to be your reading. I never really know sometimes how to pronounce these gems because I don't really talk about them much. I just like to hold them and play with them and look at them because they're pretty. Anyway, this is going to be a reading, and we are going to be looking at yours and your future spouses, your guys' love story, okay? So I have a deck here that I made myself, and I'm going to be using my pendulum to get a feeling, or to get how many cards your higher self is wanting for this reading from this particular deck. Okay, but first what we're going to do is flip over these two cards to kind of get a general idea of what the story is about. And here we've got Wise Counsel. And then, oh, wedding. This situation involves marriage. And so I have something coming to my mind, but first I want to go ahead and pull from these cards. Actually, I need to find out how many cards. All right, for pile 2, this reading for pile 2 requires 10 or more cards. 10 cards. It requires 10 cards. Okay. All right, so 10 cards for you guys from this deck. So tell me about pile 2's, the beginning of their love story. In the beginning, pile 2's love story with their future spouse. 10 cards, please. There's something about the way you move. So they're really going to be captivated by everything about you physically, but mostly like your body in motion. Maybe they see you dancing, even the way that you walk. Okay, we got drawn to you. Pile 2's love story. The sexual attraction is intoxifying. So something about like your body or your physicality. It may not even be like so much the shape of your body, but like the way you are with your body. And then there's food around. So when the two of you meet, it could be at a restaurant, it could be at, you know, a celebration where they are having food. We've got outdoors, so it'll be somewhere outdoors. So we need, what, 5 more cards? 5 more cards for pile 2, please. Okay, so we've got summertime coming through. Okay, so we've got a lot of things going on. They saw you in a crowded room or a place. I think we need 2 more. I knew you were the one early on. We got 1 more we need. For some of you, I'm seeing water, like this is happening either, you know, close to water at the beach. I'm hearing the beach. And then the last one we have is captivated and mesmerized. So they're captivated or mesmerized by you. All right, and so I really get a feeling, pile 2, that there's something that you're doing with your body. You're dancing, maybe you're playing some kind of sport, maybe you're running. Even if you're just kind of walking down the beach or just, you know, you're just walking, I really do feel like there's a body of water nearby. But something about your physicality is very, and I can see why to them, like that's going to translate into like sexual attraction. There's just something very intoxicating to them about the way you move your body. It's very, very sexy to them. And it made you stand out in a place where there was a lot of other people. So there's definitely a lot going on around you. So this place could be very, very crowded with other people. There could be maybe a lot of music going on, a lot of loud talking. And this person may want to, you know, like, can we go somewhere where it's quiet so we can, like, you know, talk and get to know each other and stuff like that. I'm almost getting a feeling that this person, there may even have been a soul recognition there, because it goes far beyond, like, yeah, like the sexual attraction for the two of you is very palpable, but that's not necessarily what really like attracts them. I mean, that is what attracts them to you, but that's not what draws them to you. It's more than that. I think it was something about the way that you move, whether it was your dancing or how you were running or even how you were just walking. It was like your demeanor, how you carried yourself. Like I'm hearing that, you know, like you carry yourself like royalty. What's coming up is like you're a goddess. And if you're, you know, you don't identify with, or if you're what they call non-binary, you can translate that and however it resonates for you. But it's like you're moving, the way you move and the way you embody, it's like you embody this essence where it's like you own everything about you and you own your space. And that they find that so attractive and so sexy. To the point for them, it's damn near intoxifying. Okay, let's get some more information. Get some more information about in the beginning for you guys. Pile 2, in the beginning. All right, we got the 7 of Pentacles, the Tower reversed, so I am sensing some kind of a delay in the beginning, like the two of you are going to meet. But there's going to be some kind of a, like the kickstart to this connection isn't going to be without some struggle and conflict, and we'll find out why and what's going on. And maybe that's where the wise counsel is coming in. Let's get one more. One of you or both of you may be having to come out of either another marriage or a long-term relationship that was maybe very messy. So honestly, what's coming to mind is like your guys' beginning isn't going to be quite the fairy tale. There might be some rough patches in the very beginning that may require like marriage counseling or couple counseling or something like that. If you didn't go watch the intro, please do so. Because I always keep my readings 100% real. If you've ever been in a long-term relationship or you've ever been married, if you're looking for something that's going to be smooth sailing from the very start, the only time I've ever encountered that in people is when both parties had, well, you know what? I've never really encountered that in people. There's always rough patches. But the very beginning, like, I was going to say it feels like one or both of you are coming out of a relationship, but really what is even trumping that is this feeling like there is there's a rough patch in the very beginning. And we'll keep pulling cards to see if we can identify why. And actually, I'm going to pull from the Stargazing Oracle to see if I can get some more insight on that. But like in the very beginning, there's kind of not a stalemate. Like the Seven of Pentacles is taking a break during the hard work or during the harvest to really just kind of sit there and assess what has been built so far. So there's kind of like, there's a pause in the building of the relationship. And we've got the Tower energy here, but it is reversed. So I feel like there's going to be some patterns in both of you, not just them, but you also, that are going to be brought up, that the two of you are going to have to maybe bring in a third party to help you guys navigate through. And that's honestly what happens, and that's what happens in these kinds of relationships. Our relationships are our biggest mirror, and they're also our biggest teachers, because that's what relationships do. They trigger our deepest, darkest, hidden soul level wounds. Okay, but I am seeing that the two of you like really do bind together to tackle those things head on. If you can see with the Seven of Wands, this person is battling from a higher vantage point. You know, in this interpretation, I'll just say that the two of you uniting together are able to battle your guys' triggers from above the triggers, okay, together, and then you're able to basically wipe the slate clean between you and get a whole new start. Clarify the strength reversed, please. Let's get the strength. Why is the strength reversed? Okay, strength is being, or strength reversed is being clarified by the King of Pentacles. And so, what's coming through is, yeah, the slate is being wiped clean. The two of you are going to be able to get back on a much more solid start, on solid ground together. But it's either them or you. It's like you might have a problem with how slow they move, okay? And that might be, that's why the strength energy is in reverse as opposed to in the upright position. Because you may, and this could be them, one of you is very impatient with how the other person progresses, okay, or moves through the stages. If they or you or whoever this person is symbolizing, the one that is very slow, if you're the impatient one, basically it's saying that, you know, once the slate is wiped completely clean, you guys can get on very stable ground. Like you can help turn the strength in reversed energy back to its upright position by allowing this person just to be who they are. Okay, impatience very much is part of a corrupted ego system, and a corrupted ego system is based out of fear. If you can make peace with your fears, because I do feel like for most of you, you are the impatient one. Okay, and so if you can allow this person, you know, to move through their stages, and that might be why wise counsel is needed. Because even though you guys go and you wipe the slate clean and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that all of your problems are going to be completely 100% you know, resolved. And this is just letting you know, it doesn't mean that your impatience is going to completely destroy what you have with your future spouse. It's just letting you know, if you want to get on, if you want to restart and hit the ground running on a more stable footing, just really release the desire to want to control the pace of how things unfold or how things go, okay? Here we've got semi-sextile. We got ascendant. Let's get one more card. But I am, like, I can feel this, these two cards are already confirming what I'm saying here. So yeah, so this person is very, they're just slow, they're methodical. And I'm not saying slow like they're a tortoise, okay? They're like, I really do feel like you're kind of super impatient. Like you want what you want and you want it now. And maybe it's because you're like, I've been waiting all this time, you know, this and that. And that's what the wise counsel might be for. It's like someone who's on the outside looking in can kind of help you know. It's like, okay, maybe they could pick up the pace, you know, but can you meet them in the middle and not be so impatient? You know, that way both of you working together as a, you know, depicted here with the Seven of Wands, can, you know, meet each other in the middle somewhere, okay? So yeah, with a semi-sextile here, saying allowing opportunity with effort. When you notice you're kind of getting in that energy where you're wanting things, you know, like you're wanting it now, you want it fast, you wanted it yesterday. God, I'm picking up a lot of fire energy from you guys. You know, Aries, yeah, I'm getting a lot of Aries energy, but of course, you know, you could also, there could be some Leo, Sagittarius energy in there somewhere too. Just allow them that space, you know, and see if you guys can't kind of meet each other on a common ground somewhere. All right, we'll go ahead and stop with those cards right there since, yeah. All right, let's pull some more tarot to kind of figure out what is going on in the middle of your guys' story. So so the beginning of your guys' story kind of starts out a little bumpy. And it may very well be because the two of you just kind of, may very well be opposites attract, right? And so you do things differently than they do things, and you approach things differently than you approach things. Did I say that right? You approach things differently than they approach things, because I may have said you and you. And so it really just kind of may cause a lot of miscommunication between the two of you. And I'm seeing like two rams butting heads. And so if this person is very earth dominant and you're somebody who may be very fire dominant, I can see like the ram and the bull just pow, like constantly, right? And but the two of you still, there's something there though that still works. There's a love there, and a, you know, underneath the initial power struggle that the two of you seem to want to constantly go through. Or I should say a push and pull. It's a push and pull dynamic, not in a anxious attachment versus an avoidant attachment thing. It's not like that at all. It's more of a push and pull between egos is what's coming up. Your ego structure initially, there's a lot about your ego structure that is going to clash with theirs. And don't be hating on the messenger, you guys, okay? Go back and read, or go back and listen to the intro. And we're going to find out now, like, how things go after this initial rough patch in the beginning, okay? So don't leave yet, stick around. Don't declare that this reading doesn't resonate. Give me a second, all right? And then afterwards, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. You know, you're always free to go see if another tile may resonate with you, okay? But let's get to the rest of this reading. What's going on in the middle of pile one's or pile two's love story with their future spouse? Pile two's love story with their future spouse. What's going on in the middle? Okay, we got the Three of Pentacles coming up. So the two of you do find so what's going to be your guys' saving grace is the two of you find a middle ground, and you find a mutual goal to work together towards, okay? Like the two of you find, all right, here is the Eight of Cups. I'm going to put these, let's put these down here for now. The two of you are going to find, it's not just something to work towards. It's like you find a common ground, and then you learn how to harvest and seed daily. So there's a daily seed and harvest on that common ground that the two of you work together. And this could very well mean that this is how you tame both of your guys's, you know, ramming heads constantly, is you find something to work towards together. Like mutual common goals. That's what it is. You guys find common goals to focus on together, where, you know, your opposites actually complement each other. Okay, let's get how many more? Three more cards. Okay, we got the Ace of Wands. In reverse, let's get two more cards, please. One of you feels like you may have a very sharp tongue. We got the Sun. Like you could cut somebody down fairly quickly if you wanted to. Yeah, see, we got the Ten of Swords popping out. The good news is, though, okay, so there is it just is what it is. There does seem like fundamentally there's going to be a lot of conflicting aspects to your guys' personality that if you don't learn, and this is what where the wise counsel comes in, if you don't learn how to work with each other's differences or each other's dynamics, I guess you could say, there is going to be a lot of conflict and problem and power struggles and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to yield, you have to become a people pleaser or anything like that. It's both of you are going to have to do this together, okay? And that's what the Seven of Wands really signifies. And the two of you can do that. So you're going to learn how to walk away from arguments that are draining. And this is the two of you together. Like the two of you are going to come together on common ground, work towards common goals together, learn how to work with each other's differences in ways that complement each other. And you're going to walk away from empty arguments, empty differences, and really learn how to take each other hand in hand. And honestly, too, what this could be saying is that when the two of you do find yourself in differences, both of you are just going to be really good at being able to walk away from like an intensifying disagreement, okay? And that kind of what that's going to do, it's going to release the pent up energy so that things can go back to neutral again. And then, you know, you got the Sun popping out here, okay? And so the Ten of Swords is kind of like just a caution, you know, to make sure that you do this, you remain here on this Three of Pentacles stretch where the two of you are working towards, like, keep your focus on the Three of Pentacles, okay? Don't focus on your guys' differences, nothing like that. Because I do feel like your guys' values are going to be, like, your core values are going to sink, okay? It's just the two of you have, if you're just on autopilot, which is what a lot of us are, like when we let our corrupt ego, our programming just take over and we're not very conscious about what's going on, If you're just on autopilot, you and your future spouse are not going to really be able to get a lot done or really be very productive with each other. And before you decide that that's not the kind of marriage or relationship that you want, just take into consideration that your future spouse is put in your path for a reason. Maybe this relationship is here to teach you how to work with people's differences, because that might be part of your life path here. Okay. And wise counsel could also mean, so if you're not going to like an actual like couples counseling, or you're not, you know, something like that, this should, like, wise counsel could simply mean constantly checking in on your inner guidance on how to handle the situation. All right, let's get some more cards. Let's get some messages from them to you. We got maybe. Let's get 4 more cards, please. Words do hurt. See, I said some of you have kind of a cutting. One of you, like one, I think it's you though. I think you may possibly have that cutting tongue. Like you could bite somebody's head off without realizing you're even doing it. Like you could cut someone down to size fairly quickly if they push you to it. It says need more balance. Yeah, this relationship, in order, like, you guys are going to have to work together to balance each other out. It says I'm open to compromise. Let's get one more card. Like, I'm being directed. I keep coming back to this Ten of Swords. And so in this particular situation, it's not that you or them are going to be backbiting each other or stabbing each other in the back. Sword energy is also mind, mental energy. And so this is like your guys' corrupt egos, like your programming going directly against each other. Now keep in mind, corrupt ego is based out of fear. And so maybe the two of you coming together, that's the whole point, is the two of you challenge the mental constructs in each other's psyche that is causing you to not be able to move forward and progress the way that you need to. All right, like there's going to be, I'm hearing Easter eggs, if you know what an Easter egg is, okay? I'm not talking about Easter eggs and Easter bunnies. Like, Easter eggs are hidden treasures. Hidden treasures, how do I want to explain it? Easter eggs are hidden treasures kind of placed strategically in the landscape, that you have to, you know, it's hard to explain. I hope you know what an Easter egg is. And I'm not talking about the Easter bunny and Easter and all of that stuff. It says, do you think about me too? So this person very much is going to like value what you think. They're going to value how you feel. You know, like the two of you butting heads isn't going to be, it's not going to be intentional. It's just like, you know, you might say something, you know, like you might be super frustrated, and maybe not even frustrated particularly at them, you're just frustrated in general, and then you say something, and out of that frustration it comes out very biting, okay? And so they take it completely wrong, and maybe they kind of feel attacked or stuff like that. And so the Easter egg in that for you would be basically learning how to separate yourself from that emotion and learn how to consciously respond beyond your emotions. Like, I've had to learn how to do that with my kids, right? Like, especially because my kids are so young. I got a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And like the Easter eggs that I have gleaned from raising my kids on how to conduct myself calmly is just, it's so much. And so basically, like, if I'm frustrated, if I'm frazzled, my nerves are fried, you know, there are a lot of times when they'll come to me, and out of my frustration it's just, you know, they come up to me and just, they ask something benign, like, you know, can I have some water? You know, and just because I'm so frustrated with just things in general, not even at them particularly, I respond to them in a way that feels very yucky for them, right? Like, why did you just talk to me like that? Of course they don't say that, but that's kind of like the Easter egg that I've learned. It's like, just because I'm feeling frustrated in this moment doesn't mean you know, I can't show up for my kids in a way that's very loving, right? So, you know, I step aside and step out of my emotions, and I approach my kids, or I respond to my kids in a way that's loving, you know, as a mother. And so you'll be learning little Easter eggs like that too, okay? And they will as well. It says, I'm afraid to contact you. Pile 2, I really feel, and that might be what it is. It's just like, you know, you may have, like, when you feel things, it's just very fiery, it's very passionate, and it's all at once. Like, it's very hard for you to compartmentalize your emotions and to, like, step out of your emotions and to respond to somebody in a completely separate way than what you're responding to your environment. I get it, because you know, it's taken me some work too to not do that with my kids, okay? Let's see, let's get 2 more cards from this deck for pile 2. It says, I know I messed up everything. And I have a feeling that that kind of is like a common ground between the two of you. Not that you're messing up everything together, but that the two of you are really wanting to work hard together to make sure that you don't do that. Okay. Let's get one more. I wish I had treated you better. Yeah, I feel like with the, you know, your guys' natural tendencies, just kind of like I said, out of your basic you know, just programming, running on autopilot, being very conscientious about how you're showing up regardless of how you're feeling. Okay, that is going to be very paramount for both of you. And to, you know, choose love, because love is a, you know, love isn't always a feeling. Like, don't get it twisted. Like me being a mom of, you know, 3 small kids, I don't always feel I don't always feel like I have the reserve to be nice to my kids, but I do it anyway, because they don't deserve to have their heads bitten off just because I'm not feeling, you know, or just because I'm having a hard day or stuff like that. You know, I've had to learn those lessons myself. All right, let's get 3 more. Let's get 3 cards from this deck for pile 2. I really do feel like your guys' relationship with your future spouse is going to be a very character building, a very belief structure healing, destroying. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. I feel too like it is going to wake you up out of a lot of your subconscious triggers. I can't do this. I feel so happy when I'm with you. The two of you maybe, yeah, so I'm detecting there's some balance that's needed here, especially with I saved your text and messages, and then we have your intellect arouses me. Okay, so so your relationship definitely is fueled by passion on both sides of the coin. And this is kind of like where like, you know, when you are in a loving space, you're very passionately in that loving space. And when you are in a disagreeing space, or when you are kind of like in an argumentative space, you're very passionate in that space as well. And so the balance is needing to really come in between, and this is why the wise counsel is there, because the both of you, this is from both sides. This isn't just you, it's not just them. Both of you guys are going to have to learn how to tame your own I don't know if it's necessarily inner demons, but like the tantrums you might have, your own temper tantrums, I guess. Like you guys have to tame your own egos. Your egos need to be tamed. And the two of you, like, this is kind of how, like, both of you may be able to, like, really build towards something together. Like, look at the sun, right? I mean, the sun has a baby and it's riding on top of a horse, and the two of you really, so with the two of you butting heads all the time, it's this power struggle between grown-up egos. And if the two of you could learn how to balance each other out by tapping into your guys' inner child and showing up in a space of love and acceptance and mutual understanding, this could be a very beautiful union. But if not, like if the two of you just want to stay stuck in your guys' corrupt egoic programming, and it's not a bite, like you guys have to understand what I mean by corrupt egoic programming. Like I said, egoic programming, it's based out of fear. Okay, wanting to control things, that's based out of fear. Wanting connection, wanting love, that denotes that you are lacking it, and that's a fear program. That's something completely based out of fear. By saying that you want love, that means you lack love, and that's not the truth. The truth is you are love. If you're wanting connection, that is denoting that you lack connection. That's a lie. That's an egoic need, and that egoic need is a lie, because you are connected, you are loved, you are safe, you are everything you think you want or need. Like everything that you think you don't have or you can't have, that's a lie from a corrupted ego, and we all have them until we heal them, right? And so that's really what this connection is meant to do. It's meant to heal your guys' corrupt egoic programming. And some of you may already be kind of in the midst of starting to do that. But nothing really is going to trigger the deepest, darkest parts of your egoic programming like someone who's completely different from you. Okay? And so that's where like this wise counsel is coming in. But I mean, the two of you really, with that egoic programming taken care of, the guy, I'm hearing you can make some beautiful music together. You can make beautiful anything. With what you guys do have in common is unbridled passion. And if you guys learn how to merge that passion and direct it in one point instead of trying to fight each other, if you guys can unite in intention with that passion, the two of you could really do some amazing things together. Not just like have an amazing life together, but accomplish and achieve some amazing things together. Like with this Three of Pentacles coming in, if you guys focus that creative energy, that passionate energy, you guys could achieve anything that you put your guys' mind and your willpower and your passion into. All right, pile 2, those were your messages. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, do me a favor and smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you feel led to do so. And I just want you guys to know that I greatly honor the time that you spend here with me. Time is finite, it is precious, and I really just want to thank you so much for spending your time here with me. I look forward to reading for you again. I will see you guys very soon. Thanks, you guys. Hi, pile 3. If you chose the blue calcite stone, this is going to be your reading. So let's take a look at yours and your future spouse's love story from beginning all the way to your happily ever after. So first, what we're going to do is flip over these cards. Then I'm going to use this handy dandy little homemade deck to find out details on the very beginning. And I'll use my pendulum to figure out how many cards your higher self wants me to choose from this deck for this reading, and then we'll just progress from there, okay? So first we've got distraction, the number 3, and then we have getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get right into pulling from this deck, and then the interpretations and the meanings from this card. These cards will develop, okay? Unfold, I should say. All right, pile 3. This reading requires 10 or more cards. 5, 6, it's 8 cards. Sometimes the number just comes to me. Then we'll go ahead and pull 8 cards from this deck for pile 3, please. Tell me about pile 3s. It says out of nowhere. Pile 3's love story, where it begins. Show me the beginning of pile 3's love story with their future spouse. Here we've got talks for hours. It seems that you meet them close to home, possibly with friends and family either around, or you're with friends and family when you meet them. Let's get 4 more cards for pile 3, please. Oh, and I just noticed this is pile 3 and that's card 3 for one of the main cards that came out, so very synchronistic. 33. Pile 3. I need 4 more cards. I love your energy. So your future spouse, one of the first things they're going to notice about you is your energy. And I'm not saying personality, because energy can be picked up even underneath personality, because a lot of the times personality can be masked. Your personality basically is an outward expression of your ego. And ego can be either healthy or it can be corrupted. It can just be corrupt, okay? A corrupt ego is based out of fear. And so, but those of us who are very sensitive to energy, we can feel a person's energy even behind their personality, or in other words, their mask. Says, damn, you sexy as fuck. And here we got keeping tabs on you. We got 1 more. All right, so what's coming up to me, or what's coming to me right now, is that the 2 of you are going to have some kind of an initial meeting, but it doesn't feel necessarily like there's going to be a relationship right away. The 2 of you may, one or both of you may have something going on in life to where a relationship isn't possible. And a chance meeting is really coming up strongly. So it says out of nowhere. So it's like this meeting is completely unexpected. Like it hits you guys, it hits both of you out of nowhere. Like you're not expecting it. I need 1 more card for pile 3, please. And then 1 or both of you may be actually working or doing something that is tied to your work, okay? So in the beginning, it looks like, so what this means by close to home, this could literally be like in your neighborhood, in your tight community. If you're someone that lives in a, you know, in a large city, it can be like in your kind of like your suburb. Like I live close to Kansas City, but I'm in a little town right outside of Kansas City called Liberty. So for me, close to home would mean that I'm meeting them, you know, somewhere here in Liberty. So this could be very, you know, very the same thing for you. That means you could literally meet them at your home or at a friend's or family's home. Friends and family are going to be around, or you might be out and about with friends and family. Like this person may, like you may meet this person while you're maybe at a like a family reunion or a get together. You know, maybe one of your friends or family has like a regular get together for family at their house. But when you guys meet each other, there's going to be an instant connection. And I feel like you're going to love this person's energy just as much as they love yours. To the effect that you guys are going to end up talking for hours. There may be a connection established right from the very beginning. I'm not yet sure if there's actually going to be a friendship where the two of you keep in close contact, like where you're talking on the phone regularly. I'm not, but it doesn't feel though like it's going to be you meet and then bang, the two of you are like in a relationship. It's not like that. Something is going on to where you guys, there's distractions going on. Maybe they're building a business or you're building a business. Maybe you guys are going to school for something. Maybe you're dealing with family drama, or maybe, you know, past relationship drama. There's some kind of distraction going on that feels like it's not going to be a congruent time to start a relationship. But the two of you, this is how the two of you meet, okay? So there is a connection, there's a click with your guys' energy, there's some definite chemistry going on, and you leave such an impression on this person that even if, like, you guys may become friends on social media and this person is regularly kind of like keeping tabs on you, checking up and seeing how you're doing, the two of you may, like, your paths may constantly, or I should say frequently, your paths may frequently pass. Like, this person could actually be a friend of your friend or family member. And so, you know, while the two of you, it's like you're on friendly terms, you're more of acquaintances in the beginning until the distractions calm down, and then the two of you like go out on a date or decide to take it to the next level. But this person, beyond like loving your energy, it's like they love your energy and it's very seductive to them, okay? Like, and like physically, they probably think physically too, like that could very well be like they think you're sexy as hell, okay? Yeah, that's what I got from that. All right, so let's look at the beginning of your story from a tarot standpoint. Pile three's beginning. The beginning of their story with their future spouse. Get 5 cards for pile 3. Let's get the pile 3's love story, the beginning of their love story with their future spouse. Oh, so it almost is like what just came up is like it's love at first sight. Even though like a relationship isn't available to you guys at the very beginning, it's like this person knows right away you're someone they want to be with. Like they want that with you. Timing may just be off. I think that's what it is. This is kind of like the timing is not aligned at the very moment you guys first meet. Get 2 more cards. So both of you may be kind of going through a fresh, brand new start. It seems like one or both of you, I'll have to put this down here just so I can keep a good eye on it. Yeah, you guys, one or both of you are really kind of going through some kind of a difficult situation upon first meeting that is not making it possible for this relationship to happen at the moment that the two of you meet. There may be they may even be, or you may even be tied up into some kind of like some kind of a legal battle, which, you know, could be somebody leaving a long-term relationship or a marriage. They might be dealing, or one of you or the other person could be dealing with like maybe child support. That's for some of you, not all of you. Otherwise, there's kind of an issue going on here. I feel like there's an issue going on with finances. It's like they're needing, or they're in the middle of, and that's probably what the distraction is. Like they're in the middle of basically, and I just lost my train of thought, getting their finances in order. There may have been a situation that happened with them where it got them into some kind of debt. So it may not even be like a legal thing, but maybe they got into some kind of debt, or maybe they made some kind of an investment and it messed with their finances or something like that. You know, something with their finances isn't going the way that they planned, and it's like back to the drawing board. And they're having they're not in a good space when it comes to their finances. And I really feel like that's partly why they're not in the head space or the heart space for an actual relationship at this time, is because they want to make sure they have like the ability to show up for you in that way, or show up in a relationship like that way. Like it really feels, it's more beyond than just them wanting to pay their bills. Like they want to be the provider. Like, not to say that you can't provide for yourself and stuff like that, but I really feel like this person, whenever they get into a relationship, they want to take care of their person. They want to pamper their person. They want a good life for them and their person, for them and you. So that's kind of like the distraction. It's like they're kind of in the middle of some financial turmoil of some kind, and so they're really focused on trying to get back on track again. And so like when this love shows up, they're so blinded by what's going on. It's like they can't really, like they know it's there, but they're too fixated on what they're needing to fix, basically. Okay, so and with justice in the upright position, that just really is all about balancing things out. So that's really what they're just trying to do. Only a very small percentage of you does this have anything to do with someone, being involved in like financial, legal things like child support, or maybe, getting a divorce, having to pay alimony, because all that stuff is really expensive. Most of you, for the most part, this person, something happened with their finances, maybe a bad investment, student loans, even something of that nature, so that it's really causing them hardships, and they're just really too focused right now on getting their finances. All right, so let's find out what's going to happen once the actual relationship gets established. Let's talk about the love story once it's finally established. Calvary's running a story with their future spouse. Oh, we got the High Priestess. 4 more cards for pile 3, please. Let's get 2 more. Yeah, this person is just, so they're, okay, so pretty much their sole focus is going to be more on building their business. So this may actually be kind of, and I don't know, this may or may not be a source of contention for you, because they're really going to be focused on making that money. Like, they want the good life. And when I mean the good life, like, they want the nice cars, the nice house, they want the designer clothes. They want that dream. And I don't really think you're going to be very happy with that. Like, this may have to be, and here we got the High Priestess, and over here it says, as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. And probably what that means is part of the two of your your connection. And please go to, if you haven't seen the introduction, please go check the introduction out real quick and just hop right back here, okay? Because it's going to put a lot of this into perspective, because I keep my readings real, and you guys, love stories from beginning to end, very rarely are they 100% rainbow. And I say rarely, I'm like, I have never yet met someone from beginning to end whose relationship or marriage was 100% rainbows and unicorns, okay? So I keep things real. So go check out the intro, though, because I put things into perspective on why, you know, it's okay to get into relationships like this, because things like that are meant to happen, so that, you know, relationships are our biggest mirrors. They're also our biggest teachers. And we have people in relationships that come into our lives for the purposes of triggering all of our self-sabotaging behaviors, all of our triggers, for the purposes of healing those, so that we can continue on down our path, okay? And so what looks like the dynamic is going on here is that your future spouse is really somebody that is focused mainly on just getting that paper. And this may leave you feeling emotionally neglected. And you may feel like they spend most of, like, it's not, they're not doing it on purpose, but you feel like they spend a lot of their time kind of like, I don't want to say hiding their heart from you, but that part of them is concealed, because they're completely focused on balancing, you know, financial stuff. All right, now what we're going to do now, let's see, let's actually get some information from the Stargazing Oracle for you guys. All right, split the deck and get 3 cards. All right, we've got Mercury with the energy of awareness, communication, writing, short trips. So what's funny is I was just, as I was shuffling, I was saying to myself, because the two of you are going to be very well financially secure, like, y'all are going to have some money, okay? You guys are going to have the nice things, the nice car, all of that stuff. This person's issue probably is going to be like a lot of our issues, is that they're like, they don't give themselves time to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Like, once they achieve one goal, it's right on to the next, without really allowing themselves to slow down and enjoy where they've come so far. And that's an egoic, that's like a corrupt egoic programming thing. And they'll learn, I feel, at some point. They'll realize how futile that is, because there's a reason why, and it's that reason is born out of fear. There's a reason why people are like that, and they'll come to find out at some point in time that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the amount of money they make. It doesn't matter what kind of house they live in. All that stuff is nice to have, but what really makes a home is the person or the people that you share it with. Like, they will learn that. I have a feeling that they've been programmed to believe from a very young age that you've heard that saying, you know, money makes the man. And that's what they believe. And whether, you know, they're male or female, it's a saying, right? And they've come to believe that, like, they base their self-worth on the amount of money that they're wanting to make. And that's why in the beginning, they seem to be overly preoccupied with their ability to make money, is because that's what they've been programmed to believe, that the more money I make, the more worthy that I am. Okay? And so I completely got off on a tangent there. So what I was trying to say when I was pulling this Mercury card out was that the two of you are going to have a lot of fun together. The two of you are going to be going on trips. It was funny because I was shuffling and thinking about that, and I'm like, you know, they're probably going to be going on trips, you know. And here it is. It says short trips. Like, the two of you are going to be going on vacations, you know, sightseeing, doing fun things, going out and about, things like that. So you will actually enjoy many moments of your relationship, but the foundation of it is really something that the two of you are going to have to work on, and it's really just a matter of awakening out of your guys' programming, okay? And here we have Saturn. So we got Mercury, full moon, and then we've got Saturn. So Saturn is all about testing existing foundations to see if those foundations can stand the test of time. Okay, and like I said, that's what relationships basically do. Relationship test. They test our character. They expose our fears. They expose our subconscious fears. And so just remember that going in. Okay, so this person, while Saturn does do that, I'm getting another message here that, and the person may be a Capricorn or Virgo. I'm really picking up heavy Capricorn energy though, so if they're not like a Capricorn sun, it can be in their big three, so Capricorn sun, rising, or moon. Or they could have, like, you know, their energy just feels very Capricorn. And I'm saying that because this person is they're very disciplined. They are very self-controlled. When they put their mind to something, or they set their mind on a path, they go full steam ahead. They're not those people that constantly are starting and stopping things, like always constantly leaving things undone. Like, when they start something, that thing gets finished. They see it through to the end, okay? And they do very much carry that down into, like, you know, their personal relationships as well. And so, but yeah, this relationship really is going to help both of you release and let go of deeply embedded belief structures that are very limiting and sabotaging to both of you, okay? Let's see. All right, let's get some messages directly from them to you. And that was too many cards, which is why I'm not keeping any of them. Let's put these down here for now. All right. All right. Well, here we've got, do you even see me that way? I want to start a family with you. Strength, ego. Your family won't like me. All right, let's get one more. says, I just want you all the time. Okay, and that very much goes back to the very beginning about, you know, they just, they think you're sexy as heck. Okay, so I feel like your family and your family is going to, like, this person is going to be very misunderstood. Capricorn energy, I'm not saying that it's very unforgiving, but it doesn't sugarcoat, it doesn't beat around the bush. It is, it's very straightforward. It can even be blunt, but not necessarily. I mean, that's more like, you know, fire energy, but this person, like your family, is going to misunderstand this person's motivation, their drive. Like, they're going to think that all this person cares about is money. And yeah, that's what it's going to seem like on the outside, but that simply isn't true. This person doesn't feel worthy unless they're making a certain amount of money. Like, they've been taught early on that you're nothing unless you go to school, you get a good job or a good career, and you make a shit ton of money, and you live in a nice house, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And so they feel less of, you know, less of a man. Just that saying that's there. You can translate it however you want to, but they feel less of, I don't know how you want to say that. If they're not providing very well for their loved ones, okay? And so your family not liking them has very little to do with your person. They just don't understand their motivations and where they're coming from, okay? You will, though, because it says here, like, getting to know each other, like, you're going to see very well what their inner drive is, which I think is why this relationship is actually going to be able to flourish eventually, because you see the inner workings of this person. Like, you feel neglected because, honestly, it's like, you know, their head is so much in making money that they just, you know, they forget that, you know, you have needs too, and they need to be met. And that's going to be part of your guys' journey together as a couple. They're going to have to learn that there's more to life than making money, and you're going to have to, you know, find a peaceful space with communicating with them the importance of taking you in the marriage seriously. Okay? Now, if that is absolutely nothing that you want a part of, I totally understand. As you know, that's just how marriages are. Not every marriage, and in fact, no relationship is ever going to be 100%, you know, like I said, unicorns and rainbows from beginning to finish. And this relationship, or the energy of this future spouse, is like in your soul records as happening, because there are some things that are still inside of you that are needing to be addressed. So if this is like not at all the kind of marriage that you want, like you don't want to work with this person that way, you don't want to have to work with any person that way, then I guess maybe just take the triggers that are coming up and use this reading sort of as like a direction of where you need to take your healing, so that this isn't, you know, the future spouse that you end up manifesting. Okay, other words, what I am seeing is, like, once the two of you are able, like, once they finally realize, like, money isn't everything, family is everything, that what makes your home, what makes your, you know, what makes your house a home is the people that are living with you in it, then they're oh wow, then their shift is going to focus from making paper to making sure you're happy and content, to focusing on your needs and stuff like that. Okay, and yeah, and I keep talking about ego, and it says ego in question marks because their strength and their drive, they are very determined and they are very driven, but it's ego driven. Like, it's driven out of fear. Okay, fear based, meaning that if I don't hit this goal, then I'm not worthy. Okay, it really is a messed up place to come from, because you're never allowed to just stop and enjoy the moment. It's exhausting, actually, and that's exactly where they're going to get to when they're realizing, you know, I have the nice house, I have the nice cars, I have all this money, you know, I have a wife or a husband or a spouse that adores me, and I can't seem to just let myself not be happy, because I do feel like there's a part of them that is happy, but they're realizing, like, why can't I just be content with what I have? And they're going to realize how empty that actually is. And so they're going to fall away from that programming. They're going to wake up out of that programming and learn how to enjoy life based off of basically how others feel about them. Like, they're really going to start paying attention to how they're showing up in their relationships, because they know that once they leave this planet, it doesn't matter how much money they make, what kind of house they live in, or what kind of car they drive. What matters is how they make people feel, right? And they are going to realize that, all right? Let's get some more information, not information, some more messages from them. I miss hearing your voice. They're going to love the sound of your voice, by the way. They're going to love the sound of your voice, or they're going to love your accent, or the way that you pronounce things. I see life differently now. Maybe you have some really cute little sayings that not many people have. I have too much to lose, and that's what they need to wake up out of. And when it's like, it's not, okay, so what's coming to me, it's like, it's not necessarily like I have too much to lose in terms of the house and the cars and the money and this and that and blah, 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 the business. It's, I have too much to lose. Like, if they lose the house, if they lose the business, they lose their own sense of self-worth. They lose their own identity. I mean, that is a lot to lose. When you lose your sense of self-worth, I mean, you really have nothing else beyond that. All right, pile 3, what other messages do you have? And yeah, I'm just like, really, I just saw that right now, and I put that down. It says, I see life differently now, and they will. And that's probably what it is too. They see life differently now because they have too much to lose, meaning they see life differently in that you, pile 3, are what makes their house a home. And they have to overcome that corrupt ego because they have too much to lose. They have too much to lose, meaning you. Not just the house. If they do that, they're going to lose you. Like, they want to start a family with you. I actually think they may possibly want a somewhat large family, maybe 3 or 4 kids. And they're realizing, like, none of this stuff means anything if I don't have you in our family. Yeah, that's what it is. Before they have this transformation, or they wake up out of this egoic programming, what they have to lose, if they lose the house and everything else, is their own sense of worth, because they've been taught since they were little that that's what makes you important, is how much money you make, the kind of, you know, like I said before. But that's going to change. They see life differently in that they have nothing if they don't have you. Okay, you are what is too much for them to lose. I hide behind material things. Yep, that's where it starts. I know I was a distraction from your pain. Let's get one more. And that might be like in the very beginning when the two of you meet. You may have been coming out of a painful relationship. It says, you were the best thing in my life. And that's how they are going to come. They are going to come first full circle. So, like, you know, putting it honestly and 100% real, the very start to your guys' love story isn't going to feel, it's one of those things where it's difficult. But then you guys stay together and you work through it, and then you guys have your happily ever after. Then you guys get your rainbow and unicorn, okay? Your rainbows and unicorns, okay? It's just this person, and you may be a very key part in helping them wake out of that programming. You may have a lot to teach them in a good way. Yeah, because underneath it all, even underneath the egoic programming, they realize none of that means anything if they don't have you. Like, they'll be devastated. If they'd be more devastated to lose you than they would be to lose the house and everything else, all the nice stuff or the business or anything like that. So they will have a complete change of heart. They will end up awakening out of that egoic programming that tells them that they're nothing unless they're making, you know, all the money and buying all the nice things and stuff. And you are actually going to be able to see underneath all of that. It says, as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. And it truly does. And I think it's that bond that holds you guys together during this initial, you know, rough patch. And this rough patch could last, you know, several years. All right, pile 3, those were your reading, or that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this wasn't like the fairy tale, but like I said, take what resonates. The rest of it, you know, you can either welcome this teaching lesson in, or you can just kind of, you know, whatever was triggered from this, use that as a direction on where you need to heal. So this particular relationship dynamic won't be manifested into your reality, okay? So do me a favor, if you were able to find any value in this reading, do me a favor and smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe. I really do honor the time that you spend with me. I know time is like precious, it's finite, and so, you know, the time that you spend here with me is very appreciated, and I look forward to reading for you guys again. Thanks, you guys. Hi, pile 4. If you chose the fire quartz, this is your reading, and we are going to be looking at the love story of you and your future spouse. So, and I mean from beginning to end, okay? So from beginning all the way to your happily ever after, and everything in between, including any of the rough patches that might pop through, because just keeping it real, pile 4. Very rarely do relationships, and I'd almost say never. I've never encountered a marriage or a relationship that didn't have, you know, rough patches, that there wasn't some kind of conflict, and that was rainbows and unicorns all of the time, okay? So whatever comes through, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm going to, you know, give it to you real so you know what to expect. I think that's going to be best for you guys anyway. That way it sets you up much better, so you know what to expect. You know what I mean? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and this is a deck that I made, and this is all about the beginning, like the first time you meet. And I'm going to check the pendulum to see how many cards from this homemade deck does your higher self want me to pull, okay? So first, pile 4. Give me a minute, pile 4. All right, pile 4 is requiring more than 10 cards. Nope. All right, so let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All right, so you need 6 cards. All right, 6 cards from this deck. We'll go ahead and pull these, though, to kind of get an overall feeling of, you know, the theme of your guys' love story. Here we have Triumph. That's good. Triumph and attraction. So it says you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. All right. All right, so we'll continue on the reading, and then we'll see how the overall theme and the story develops. All right, so we need 6 cards for pile 4, please. got opposites attract. So the two of you may come from different cultures, maybe different sides of the tracks. Just could be that, you know, personality-wise, energy-wise, you're very opposite. You know, they might be, one of you might be very quiet and the other one is very outgoing. One of you might be the extrovert and the other one might be the introvert, that type of thing. All right, we need to get 5 more cards for pile 4, please. Keeping tabs on you. Friends first. That's good. Nice solid foundation with friends first. All right, here we got summertime. There's food around, and then we also have captivated and mesmerized. So the fact for them anyway, and this may be very well for you as well, like they like the fact that you're nothing like them, because they're constantly going to be like, it's like seeing the world through a whole different lens. And they're going to be fascinated with the way your mind works, with the way you see things. And to you, it may just be like, I don't see what's, you know, but you have to understand, like, this person is, especially if they're from a different culture, if they grew up in a different, you know, yeah, just a different culture. Like for a lot of you, I feel like this person is going to be very different from you in essence of, like, you know, the two of you may be different ethnic backgrounds, but cultural differences is really what's coming through, and you're going to be fascinated by them and they're going to be very fascinated by you. And so this first meeting is going to happen sometime during the summer months, wherever, you know, whatever those months are in your part of the world. There's going to be food around. And so there, it doesn't feel like there's going to, okay, so it says friends first. And so that's what happens. The two of you become friends. I feel like, you know, that you'll make the initial connection could even be made online or on social media. If not, and the two of you actually meet in person, that's how you continue the connection beyond that first initial meeting, is through, you know, staying friends on social media, maybe following each other on Instagram, TikTok or whatever, and that's how this person is able to kind of keep tabs on you. Not stalking, okay? It's just they like being able to kind of follow your journey to, you know what I mean? It's kind of like their way of getting to know you. Because something about you and the way you live your life, or maybe it's the way you talk or the things you talk about, really captivates and mesmerizes them. It really feels like they're learning a whole new way of looking at the world through your eyes. Okay, very beautiful energy. All right, let's look at some tarot. All right, let's look at the beginning of the Six of Wands right next to Triumph. It's the same thing. All right, triumph over what? I mean, maybe it's triumph, being triumphant over cultural differences. It could very well be that they may be from a, and it could be one of you is maybe from a very strict cultural, like your culture has a very strict guideline maybe over the kind of people that you can date or marry. And it's like maybe the two of you being able to come together and eventually marry feels very triumphant, like you were able to not just, oh, we got Ace of Wands. God, such beautiful energy coming through, which is like, you guys, oh my gosh, pile 3 was a very difficult reading for me because I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, so it's like your union seems to go against possibly established norms. Okay, however that resonates for you. If there's two different scenarios that's coming through for the majority of you guys, okay? Like 60% of you guys, all right? So out of that 60%, some of you, this may be talking about, you know, maybe same-sex, like a same-sex situation where you just maybe came out and you've never been able to really live in that manner, or on the flip side, for someone else, it could be if that doesn't apply to you, then it's someone who has a different cultural background than you, and it's either one or both of you. Like that culture has a very strict guideline for who you're able to marry, okay? And so the two of you being able to come together in this union, it feels very triumphant, okay? That's about for 60% of you. One of those two applies. And the rest of you, that's just saying that there's something that the two of you, like, as far as opposites attract, there's just something about your union that defies something, okay? Defies something. And so the two of you being able to come together, you know, establish this long-term relationship or marriage. We got the Page of Swords, we got the Moon. Yeah, I really feel like there's something about this union, like the urge in the beginning is like, I gotta hide this. Like, this needs to be a secret. Get one more card. And the reason why it's like you gotta hide it, you gotta keep it a secret, is because you're defending, you're protecting the you're protecting. I'm laughing because here comes the Seven of Swords, which is really sneaky. I'm protecting the relationship. So it feels like in the beginning, it's like the two of you have to possibly do some sneaking around. It's like you have to keep this relationship a secret. And you're doing that to protect the relationship. You guys, this is really heavy on the cultural differences, on going against what is believed to be societal norms. But even though a lot of this stuff is happening in secret, there is still something very beautiful being created. And that's why Triumph shows up as like the overall theme of the story, is because even though things begin, like there's almost kind of like a triumph even in the relationship getting started. And then the fact that you're able to keep the relationship going despite all odds is more triumph. It's like this entire thing, it's just one triumph from one to the next. But there's a lot of passion between you guys, a lot. Like that's like the glue that holds it all together. It's like the love that you feel for each other is just, it's unmatched. And both of you have really big dreams about what it is you're wanting to create with each other. Let's pull some more cards. All right, what comes after the beginning? What's in the middle of their story? Pile four's love story with their future spouse. There's Justice. All right, so some of you may be getting out of, I'm hearing an abusive. Some of you may be getting, so like when you meet this person, some of you may be getting out of a somewhat abusive relationship, whether it's actually a physically abusive one, or it could be emotionally abusive, mentally abusive. even spiritually abusive. And that might be why you feel like you have to keep this a secret. It's like you may even be in the middle of legal proceedings, and this is for the other part of you. And I don't know, depending on where you're at culturally, I mean, it may be against the law to have a relationship with this person. I don't even know if laws like that still exist anywhere. But there seems to be like some consequences to this union, and this is across the board. Like, I feel like that's like we have to keep this, and this is for everyone. This is like the underlying theme for everyone. Like, we have to keep this a secret. If people find out, there's going to be some consequences. You know, in order for us to see each other, we have to kind of like, you know, sneak around and be like that. But you're doing that to protect the relationship, because this relationship for you is worth it. Like, if, you know, like there's going to be consequences. There's going to be conflict. But the two of you very much know what you want, though. So it's like you're willing to fight for it. And no matter what happens in the middle of the story, the two of you do triumph. Like, you're not going to have to hide you know, for long, because the two of you do end up getting married. And you'll do whatever you need to do in order to, you'll move wherever you need to move to. Look, because this relationship is destined. So you'll do whatever you have to do. You make the moves that need to be made in order for this connection to be, in order for it to unfold completely. But it doesn't really matter what happens in the middle. Things are going to work out for your guys' favor. The two of you are going to be able to live like a happily ever after kind of life together. It's just getting over this initial hardship that is causing you guys to have to, like, you know, keep your relationship a secret and to guard it, things of that nature. Let's see, what am I wanting to pull? Let's look at the Stargazing Oracle. Semi-sextile, so we have allowing opportunity with effort, energies attract, lack of ease, potential for growth, tempers. Let's get 3 more cards, or 2 more cards. We got Saturn return. You're really going to realize how much the two of you really truly do love each other because of what you're willing to go through in order to be together. Yeah. This love is definitely one that is very divine. It's destined. And it breaks through any kind of illusion. It breaks through any sort of fantasy of what ideas of love have been built from the outside. Not from you, but like the outside world. This is going to be a very beautiful union. With a lot of challenges involved in the beginning, okay? All right, let's look at some... I'm going to get some messages that will be coming directly from your future spouse, okay? But remember, in the end, the two of you end up together. You're not having to keep it a secret. And you really, truly do triumph. We got strength. Ooh, look at the 8s popping out. I just want you all the time. So if you're seeing like double 8s, triple 8s, that might, you can maybe take that as a sign that you're getting very close to meeting this person. Here we have another Ace of Wands. Yep, so the Ace of Wands is coming out. You guys are just going to be, like, the passion between you two, the chemistry is going to be, I mean, you couldn't hide it if you tried. Like, it's not going to be easy for you guys to be out in public and not hide your love for one another. Like, it feels like for most of the, like, the two of you are going to have to go to, like, you know, a different city. I don't know how you guys are going to hide this, honestly. Because anyone that sees you two together is going to be able to see that, like, you're deeply, deeply, deeply in love. Wait. Here's another 8. I miss you, do you? Yeah, so some patience is going to be needed here, because, I mean, the two of you are just going to be so madly in love with each other. You're going to be wanting to shout it from the rooftops, and you're not going to be able to, at least in the very beginning. And it's going to be very difficult for you guys to keep your love under wraps for a while. I mean, you know, because there's so much of it. There's so much passion. It is very hard to hide that when those feelings are mutually reciprocated, and it really, and it's this strong and this raw. Triple 8s, you guys. All right, let's get 3 cards from this deck for pile 4. It says, I left you before you could leave me. I'm so attracted to you. Let's get one more. So this person says, my life is not as together as it seems. Yeah, this connection is really going to throw this person for a loop. It really is. And as far as it says where I left you before you could leave me, it's because they're going to be so attracted to you. Their experience with you is going to be so different from anything they've ever had that it's going to leave them kind of unsure of themselves in the beginning. So I'm not saying that they're going to leave you before that you can leave them, but that's kind of the feeling that they're going to have. It's like they're going to be wondering whether or not they're going to be wondering really if they're good enough for you, honestly. And because this relationship is challenging so many norms, and so, you know, as far as norms go, if it's not like a cultural difference where you're like literally breaking the law where you're at, or things like that, or it's kind of like a coming out sort of deal, then it's more along the lines of, I wasn't supposed to fall this much in love again. This wasn't supposed to happen. Because falling in love with you, the two of you falling in love together, has some kind of a consequence attached to it, at least in the beginning. And this is really throwing them for a loop. This, you know, this whole thing. But honestly, they don't care really what the consequences are. even if it would be death, even if it would be being ostracized, they would risk it all for you. But that doesn't mean that they're not feeling freaked out. It says you came closer than anyone. Oh. All right, let's get two from this deck, please. I find you so attractive. See, they are very attracted to you. Yeah, and there's something about you where it's just like, they've never felt anything like this before with anyone. I do love you. Yeah, that bond, the bond that the two of you had, especially with the two aces of wands coming through, that bond is going to be very strong and very unbreakable. As evident by what you guys are willing to risk just to be together. And just remember, like I said a few times before, you know, in the end, the two, there truly is a like a happily ever after. You aren't gonna have to, like, the two of you will figure out a way to be together where it's not going to be of any consequence. Okay, you will figure that out, and that's really kind of like a mutual thing between the two of you, because you don't want to spend the rest of your lives together hiding, sneaking around. You know, you want to scream your love out about this person, right? I mean, you want to let all, you know, everyone that you love and care for know how awesome, this amazing this person is. I mean, you like shouting it from the rooftops. But you will conquer and you will triumph. This is very important for you to remember, okay? And it's going to be so worth it. So worth it in the end. All right, pile 4, those were your messages. I hope that you enjoyed them. And if you did, please do me a favor and smash that like button. Comment, share, subscribe if you feel led to do so. And I look forward to reading again for you very soon. Thank you, guys.